Welcome to Food.Cook.Share. These are not just any pork ribs. These are Tuscan Spare Ribs. Spicy, garlicky, with fresh herbs and tomato. These ribs take a while, but are well worth the effort. Let's do it. Today we're working with a 1.5 kilogram rack of pork spare ribs, about 3.5 pounds. When you are choosing a rack of ribs for this recipe, look for a good layer of meat, large bones, and some fat marbling. This will cook for a while, so a bit of extra fat will help keep the meat juicy and flavorful. Let's begin with trimming this rack. Any surgeon will tell you to always glove up before you grab a knife. First, adjust the ribs so that the bone ends curve up. The flat needs to be removed along with any large pieces of fat. That's a good example. To remove the flat, simply lay your knife against the ribs and slide your knife across. There is a large bone that runs across the top. Feel where the cartilage connects to the bone and slice through to remove it. Keep that for the chef. It has plenty of good meat, but just hard to make look good. Now, remove the membrane covering the rib bones. It is tough and will prevent the rub from flavoring the meat. Paper towel helps with grip because this thing holds fast and is slippery. Divide the ribs into manageable pieces, then place them into a roasting pan for safekeeping while we make the rub. This rub starts with a food processor, to which I add 2 cloves of garlic, 3 sprigs of rosemary, 2 teaspoons of red pepper flake, and 2 sprigs of sage, which is not shown because the camera shut off, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now secure the lid and give it a good blitz to combine. Now, smear the rub all over the ribs, top and bottom. Cover and chill for at least 8 hours, or up to 48. To prepare the sauce, you will need 2 cups of diced tomatoes, 1 clove of thin sliced garlic, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon red pepper flake, 2 teaspoons Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons hot sauce, which is optional, and a half cup of white wine. Stir everything together, cover, and set aside while you go grab the ribs. Let's see how they've made out. The first thing you get is the aroma of garlic and rosemary. It's making me hungry just smelling it, but we still have a ways to go yet. It's off to the grill for these guys. Place the ribs on a hot grill. Keep them well spaced so that they get plenty of heat to develop a good amount of flavor from the flames. Use any flare-ups to enhance the crust by placing the ribs in the flames just long enough to give the crust some extra caramelization. You don't want burnt, just some nice char. This step is just for flavor. It's not intended to fully cook the ribs, as that will be done while braising in the sauce. When they have a nice golden brown color, pull the ribs and it's time for the final step. We are approaching the home stretch. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Fully coat the ribs with the tomato mixture. Cover again and braise until the ribs are almost fall off the bone tender. About an hour and a half for these size pieces. Voila! Tuscan Spare Ribs. They look amazing, smell even better. So that's enough waiting. Let's dig right in. Just from picking up this rack, I can feel how tender they've become. It is a little tricky to cut because a really tender piece of meat can tear out a bit on the outer edge, which my knife was doing here a little, so I pushed the ribs apart at the end. The rib is just holding together. I'm being very delicate as it is the epitome of pull-apart tender. Let me separate the different sections. Oops. And now for the long-awaited taste. As the meat separates clean from the bone, it is still toothsome, yielding the rich, unmistakable flavor of pork. Cutting through that is the sweet, tangy mix of tomato, mellow garlic, rosemary, and surprisingly, wine. They brighten the heaviness of the pork. The char-grilled flavor really emerges strong, and the sage adds a subtle but solid earthy note. If there's a reason you deserve to be truly indulgent, then satisfy it with Tuscan Spare Ribs. Stay safe. Cheers.